Hi, I'm Steve with LB Magazine. We are here with New York Mets legend Buddy Harrelson. How you doing, Mr. Harrelson?
I'm doing well. I'm at the Ducks game.
But we have
Not a hockey game either. It's the Long Island Ducks.
and you have certainly some interest in the Long Island Ducks. And tell us what you're doing right now with the Long Island Ducks.
Well, I'm one of the owners. I was the first manager. I fired myself after the first year because I'm an owner, and I didn't have to go on the road. I've been in Long Island for 46 years. Came originally from Northern California. Gave up California for New York and love it here.
Wow. And Bud Harrelson is not your birth name. You are Daryl.
Daryl McKinley Harrelson.
That's
My
it.
dad was McKinley. His father was a McKinley. His great-grandfather was a
After the president?
McKinley.
After William McKinley, probably? Or?
I think so, because it did go back, and unfortunately he was assassinated, but not me yet.
No. You have a big target on your back. I know a couple of players like Pete Rose will know that you've made amends since then with Pete Rose. We try not to talk about Pete Rose. I'm sure you get bombarded with questions like about Pete Rose. I mean, it's a shame because you've had a storied career. You've had a legendary career. You've been in 1969 World Series. You won with them. 1973 World Series. 1986, you were the coach of the New York Mets, and now you continue to be present at all home games at the Long Island Ducks, and they're enjoying so much success now. And I mean, tell me about this run they're going on. 17 straight home victories. How impressed are you with this team?
They are special. It seems like when they got together that they actually felt like they knew each other, and they root for each other. When we're losing, they figure out a way of winning instead of thinking, "Oh, not again." And they have a really good attitude. We have a good inside, right?
Mike Pfaff and Mike Pollock.
We're in here, we're good, and out there, we're good. So, and that's not always that's needed. If you don't have that, and you're in trouble.
Right, and you got some good. I mean, this team just doesn't seem to die. They've had come back from 7-8 run deficits, and even yesterday. I mean, I don't know if you weren't there yesterday, but that was the one time I think. But yesterday was an unbelievable game. They were behind. I thought that streak was going to be over, but they actually came back in the ninth inning, and it was just the pop up. Prentice Redmond pops it up. Catcher drops the ball. Then Dan Lyons, guy I'm sure you has been kind of your as a shortstop for the Long Island Ducks. He said you're his idol, and he's looked up to you, And tell me about Dan and how your relationship with him.
Well, we kind of went through the book of available shortstops, and just like what we saw, he came here, and I said, "Oh my God!" I watched him on the field, and I said, "He's me." He goes out in the field, outside in the outfield, and catches balls. He's got a great arm. He's got great. He just looks like me, And he did. He was real lucky because I had him in my house for free for 4 years, maybe 5, I think.
Something rubbed off.
Well, I saw him, and I said to him, "Well, you're not here because of your defense, because you do everything right." And we talked about his what kind of hitter he should be, and at that point, he was a little guy with a big swing, and he started off with his bat a lot closer to his body instead of way back behind his back. And he is a dangerous player now with that bat in his hand because he can hit the ball in the gap of the right field. He can run. They call him Shorty. Yogi called me Shorty, and I said, why you call me Shorty? Because I'm a shortstop or I'm short? He said, both. Well, that's Yogi.
That's his talk, that's how we Yogi.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Any good Yogiisms you can remember offhand that when you managed for the 73 and 74 team?
Well, I love the man, and I worship him. He's just a good person as well as a great baseball player. You look at him and you say, he did all that? And
Celebrated his 90th birthday, too.
yes, and I miss going to his golf tournament this year. But he is. I tried to beat him to the ballpark. You can't, man. Might have to leave at 2:00 in the morning to beat him. But he's just great, and he never called me Bud. He always called me Shorty, and he still calls me Shorty, and that's what we call Dan Lyons.
Wow. He's handed the torch to Dan.
But he is the best two-out, two-strike hitters I've ever seen.
Wow. Comes through in the clutch.
And that takes a lot. And I'm so glad he's here. He's kind of like a little captain now. He's been around.
Right. And now tell me, you wrote a book a few years ago. It's called Turning Two. Buddy Harrelson with Phil Pepe, and I read this. It was an excellent book, Bud, and just the stories in here. You talk about, obviously the most memorable years of the New York Mets history. Tell us about that '69 team, and tell what it meant playing for that team, and just the spirit of that team.
Well, it was '68. We got Gil Hodges. He kind of looked at, see what we had. He's coming from Washington as a manager, and he came in the '68. He's kind of looking around and seeing who's really good and what's going to happen, and could he do this? And he got some players, and in '69, he said, if every pitcher, we have 10, if you get one more win than loss, then we're going to be 10 games over 500. And last year you lost 37 one-run ball games. And, if you win half of those, you're in pretty good shape. Well, in '69, we won 45 one-run ball games. So that's 45% of the games that we won, because we won 100 games. And if you talk to anybody with the '69 Mets, they'll tell you that the nucleus was Mr. Hodges, and he was really, really a great manager.
It's a shame he's not in the Hall of Fame. He
I
deserves it.
think he's going to get there. I don't know what they're waiting for, but he just what he did for the '69 Mets should be a lot.